Hello, beautiful people. It is time for Let's Talk Naija with me, Omolabake,
Oluwatosin, Day, that's the name.
and we're coming to you live from the studios of CTV. The show is brought to you courtesy at Damasile Foundation. So I hope you guys are well. I hope you are fine and fabulous, just like I am here. Look at me, looking all. I know.
She meant to say just like me, right?
Looking all fine and fabulous. I hope you guys are staying safe. COVID is. I'm trying to ignore Tosin. You can see the fine one. You people know exactly.
It's not going to become a debate for us to talk about, but maybe after the show we can, just debate about it. But don't worry.
All right. It's fine. Moving on. So, guys, I hope you guys are staying safe. COVID is still here, unfortunately. I am done with COVID. I am tired of COVID, but COVID is not done with us. COVID Omicron is the newest variant. Are you vaccinated yet? Make sure you wash your hands properly with soap and water. Tosin, are you vaccinated yet?
No, not yet, but they're coming home to vaccinate me.
Special service, VVIP, personality.
Thank you very much. I'm honored.
Shall go and get vaccinated. You
I
too.
will.
So you guys can also be a part of the show, a part of the program. So make sure you leave your comments, your thoughts, your reactions, your experiences. If you have any, 090156011908 is the WhatsApp number to send your messages to. And on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, we are at CTV Live. All right, and CTV Live 1 on TikTok and YouTube. That's where we are. So guys, what we're talking about today, following an unfortunate and sad incident, would be the unfortunate death of Sylvester Oromoni. We pray that his soul rest in peace and God grants his family the fortitude to bear the loss. It's absolutely sad and draining. A 12-year-old. Come on, guys. It brings us to the topic of bullying. Let's talk about bullying as it is. How to identify the signs. The bullies, the victim, schools, parents, teachers. How do we all have a responsibility as a society? What can we do it is a menace, obviously, in our society. How can we manage this? So, let's get it. Let's start from the beginning now, shall we? Let's talk about what bullying is according to the dictionary definition of what bullying is. So let's talk about this really quickly. So I will be talking to Merriam-Webster. So Merriam-Webster says bullying is the abuse and mistreatment of someone vulnerable by someone stronger or more powerful. So that breaks it down. So that's it. So a bully is someone who takes advantage of their strength, perhaps position, wealth, or size, so to speak. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it is really, because looking back at my time growing up while I was in school, in the primary school, I actually got bullied, right? And it was just basically because of my size at the time, because I was really very small. And this guy would just come all over me and just take my things, because it was quite bigger than I was. But thank God for a friend of mine who was quite strong. He was always having my back. And, I just imagine I don't have somebody like that, to fight for me, to speak up for me. How school would have been for me throughout my life, that would have it would have been something else, for me. It would have been ridiculously bad for me. But it's saddens my heart to see what Sylvester experienced and how we ended up for him, because this could have ended up differently. I believe if the case was taken up immediately, or it was spoken about much more earlier. Now it has resulted in the death of the young man and the young boy. And I'm really just really very troubled about it. It's something I'm not taking my mind out of. It's still in my heart, and I'm grieving actually for the family, really.
We all are, and yesterday I think there was a protest, sometime, in front of the school, and we had family, friends, well-wishers, all coming out to demand justice for the death of the young boy. So it's sad. That's the only word. I think it's tragic. That's the word I could use. So now, I'm curious. Now let me talk about your experience. I just want to pick your brain a bit. Your experience in primary school. Yeah. How come you were able? Did you tell a teacher, or perhaps you told your parents?
I didn't tell none of them. I didn't tell my teacher. I didn't tell my parents. They don't know about it up to this very moment. So let me like the pictures are flashing back right now. So there was this scenario, right, when we wanted to play football. It was sports time. I can remember his name. His name's Kayode, right? So they picked us. You know, how random you pick yourself.
Selection and all of that, yeah.
And he was not chosen. He was not there when the picking was being done. We chosen ourselves. We're about to go out to play, and he came and like, I want to play, and I said, you wait your turn, right? And I said no, that he wants my sport, and I'm like, how do you want my sport? And he shoved me to the ground, right? That I'm not going to play. I actually bruised my elbow, you know, and but because somebody spoke up and said you can't do that, like he was also our mate, right? But maybe he was more mature than I was. He was quite matured, right? And he stood up for me and said, "No, Tosin must play you. He's in my team. I want him in my team." Do you understand? But no teacher was aware of this. My parents were not aware of this. I didn't tell them, and I don't think if I don't know. I don't know if they could, if there was anything they could have done to pick up signs that I was going through things like this. Do you understand? But
It's cool.
it was really, I don't think it's something I wanted to talk about too, because I felt embarrassed that why would my mates, do this to me? So it was something I was not happy
So
about.
there was a part of shame.
Yeah,
getting into
exactly.
it.
You could imagine. I mean, the ladies, the girls, and they Tosin that cannot talk for himself. Tosin that cannot is this boy that's stuck. You understand that kind of thing. So it was my mentality at the time. So it was really bad, and nobody picked up on it. I mean, my parents and my teachers.
Wow, and that's quite interesting to say the very least. And you'll be surprised how many people have similar experiences as well. So guys, send your thoughts, your comments, your reactions. Have you ever been bullied? Did you ever bully someone? If you were ever bullied, can you tell us why did you bully someone? And I mean, people who bully, they are human beings, right? Yes, it's one of us, right? It has to be part of us. So did you bully someone? Is there an actual reason why you did? Were you bullied? And here, hit us up, let us know. And well, I can't remember a particular bullying experience. I am struggling to think about. Okay. Oh yes, mine perhaps wasn't physical. It wasn't verbal as well. It was just an interesting segregation. So
Wow.
yeah, so just don't play with R, don't whatever. And
This is blame to you.
yeah, I can remember. I can't even remember the lady's name, the girl's name, right? I can't remember her
Like
name.
she was telling other people not to play with you.
Yeah, don't play
Why?
with her. What did she even say? No, she doesn't like how I act and do all spray.
Oh.
And then so the other, one of them actually came to tell me that it was because I was also pressing.
Please
They are choosing not to
stop.
play with
Please
me,
do.
and like, so I should play my ball by myself. So you know that experience now. So on Saturdays, right after whatever chores we're doing at home, I love football, so carry my ball and all proud and all. Right, guys, so let's play 2 aside, 5 aside. And all of a sudden, I
You
saw
don't
that
get any reactions,
a couple
like-
of the guys will want to play with me, and a couple of them are like, no, we have our own ball. And typically, I'm the chief ball holder. Like, so I come in with my ball all shiny, and I'll have washed my ball, all prepped for Saturday morning game and all. And they be like that, no, they're not using my ball. This kind of wahala. Why? And you know how kids can be. We're not using
exactly.
your
We're
ball,
not
and they all
playing your
play,
ball.
and there I am, the spectator. That's the chief ball holder. You can imagine that.
Not
And-
playing the ball.
right? And that I think that was it. It wasn't verbal. And eventually, I can't even remember how we sorted the out. Did I even tell my mom? No. I just sit by the side and sulk. And
Wow.
after a while, if I said that they're still not going to play with me, I could just choose to go inside and watch television instead. But it was, so I think all of that, that is part of it. So you shoving somebody, segregating somebody, pulling someone's hair, collecting their food. Somebody else's food though, and you'll be standing like you're not going to eat the food. Is it your food?
I don't know. Somebody brings food to school. The parent suffers to cook, and get food ready for the child, and you just come. Did your father and mother not give you food?
You get it. All these are more things. Yeah, it constitutes as bullying. So now, as parents, as caregivers, as guardians, I mean, what do you think your parents should have done? All right, the fact that you did not tell them, that's part of it. But is it a question of the fact that here, as Nigerians, as Africans, there's a lot of maybe now the narrative is changing, but before it was quite hard to say certain things to your parents. It's quite hard to tell them certain things.
Yeah.
Could that be a reason why you didn't tell your parents that?
Like you rightly said, like the narrative has changed a lot. Like back in the days, we were not so close to our parents. Not like maybe for instance, I was not so close to my dad growing up, but I was more close to my mom because she's the one always at home, right? So, but I just get home, eat, sleep, do your assignment and sleep. So there was no asking of how was studies, how did it go, and stuff like that, right? So that was just it. Not that I couldn't really talk to them, but I was also expecting the observation routine from my parents.
Oh, you wanted your parents to notice.
Do you understand? I just had like, I expect that you know what I used to do before. Like when I come home, I'm jovial. I jump up. Okay, you say eat. I'm excited about wanting to eat. But sometimes I just come home and I'm moody. You seem like, okay, you asked me once. Let's say you asked me, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't give you an answer. I don't give you a response. And you let it go. You don't think I'm going to come to you again and say, Mommy, why did you not say this to me? So in the long run, I was like, okay, maybe they're just busy with your work and they really don't care.
And
so
you keep it moving.
With time, I'll sort things myself, but it's not ever going to sort itself. That's the thing.
Yeah, actually true.
Looking at also the case of this young boy, from what I read, I don't know how true the story we got, but the mom said categorically that the young boy told her that the boy didn't want to go back to that school again, but she didn't pay attention to it.
I think that comes to the part of us as caregivers, guardians, parents, listening and actually taking time to actually listen to what the child is saying. But as kids, we can be quite devious. Kids, that's a we. Kids can be, well, I'm going back to my child.
Yeah,
kids can be quite devious, really. A child that nothing is happening in school, I just want to flex, have fun and pay time. And, I have maybe a date with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Like there's a time it's showing on, all of those television stations and all those cartoons and all.
Yeah.
I just want to flex. I just feel like not going to school. I can't tell my parents anything. So that's the part where parents also need to be careful. So most times, even though I'm not totally on that side of the fence, really, kids can be quite devious, and I can understand when parents sometimes just choose to ignore when you say certain things. I don't feel like going to school. Or Mommy, we're not doing anything in school. You just don't feel like. You just want to be lazy and so kids can be quite devious like that. Now let's drive this conversation a bit from the day student to the boarding part of the conversation, right? This year alone, we've had quite a number of stories from boarding school. I'm not saying it is just boarding schools alone, but the stories we've heard this year, we've heard the Deeper Life School, now the Darwin College situation, quite a number of other schools which have been boarding schools as well. Is it of course I know that bullying also occurs in day school, right?
True,
but is it more what's it called now? More
pronounced?
Exactly, in bullying, in boarding school, or more than the day school? And is there a reason why, actually? Do you think I don't know.
I don't say that it's more, it's looking like the boarding school is where this is more prevalent, right? But from what we are hearing, right, from the story, like you said, from the
Deeper
Life now to Darwin, what's the name of school again?
Darwin, yes.
Darwin School. We are hearing these things that children are bullying other children to the point of death. Why I will not agree to this, because there's no way your child will come home bruised in the mouth and the face or in the body. You will not be aware. You will find out. Right? I mean, for that age,
you will see.
Right? Because some parents still bait their children, right? So you see it, right? But in a boarding school, you don't know the day-to-day activity of your child. You don't know what's going on, right? All you can do is maybe have the luxury to call.
Maybe the housemaster.
Exactly, and not even your child directly. And if you don't have the chance to talk to your child directly, the child can just tell you, Mommy, I'm fine, Mommy, I'm okay, everything. Do you understand? So I want to say it's going to be more prevalent, and I think it's time for parents to start thinking about dropping their children. I mean, not taking the children to boarding school. I mean, we all pray to have these children. Now this is taking them away. I'm not saying boarding school is bad in the entirety.
But you're not in boarding school, that's the point.
I've never been team boarding school. I can never be team boarding school. I'm never going to be team boarding.
That's so strong words there. But I think I don't want us to just put boarding school in that particular bracket. Right? I think for a number of parents, there are reasons why. And perhaps the fact that the kind of school they want their kids to go to, it could be interstate. You can't be commuting on a day-to-day basis from one state to the other without it affecting your psyche of yourself, and much less the child that you're taking to commute, accidents and all of that stuff are quite a number of reasons. And also maybe the timing. We need to hustle. You want to provide good and well for these kids. You need to work. These bills aren't going to pay themselves, man. They don't, right? I think it's one of the reasons why a lot of parents would perhaps the father works, say 9 to 5, and 9 to 5 in a city is actually 5 to 9.
That's true.
Traffic and Lagos is like this. They are so close, you can't separate them. So that's part of the reasons, I think. And if the mother as well works the kind of hours as well, what time do you have to actually see your kids? And they'll perhaps think of the pros and cons and then choose to take their kids to boarding school and all. But I don't think it's just a boarding problem, because even in day school, kids are devious. Like I said, kids can be devious.
I mean, we have kids who beat up children in day schools, right? They beat up children. Parents will come back to the school the following day to report the case. Your child has beaten me. Do you understand? Stuff like that. So we can't just say. But the problem now is that in a day school, the parent can see this. They can observe it. They can know
and now take action.
Do you understand? But in the boarding school, they probably have to wait till midterm or after the school has vacated. And that's a lot. That's
a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time. Everything can happen, yeah.
So I don't know if there's something drastic has to be put in place for this to work. If I'm going to take my child to a boarding school, which I don't think I'll ever do, I don't know the security. What are the school authorities doing? A lot of questions have to be asked. Like, it's not free. You know,
it's
not free. People are paying huge money. Like, I mean, look at the school. Big one, serious money to yell at another child. We also heard of the story of a youth celebrity who we said a particular person touched son. You know, a lot of people are now coming out and say, see, they are going to drop manners on one side. You understand? Don't touch my child. It's coming to that stage in life. But please, I'm not giving birth, right? But I've heard of stories of how women, how they labor. You labor. One person will come from there and slap my child.
You will see crazy. No, but we preach peace.
Let me talk to my.
We preach peace. We
We
preach peace here, but the conversation. Let's just keep it coming. You guys are, like I asked, have you guys been bullied before? Do you know perhaps your kids, your wards, have they been bullied before? Did they actually bully someone? I think it's kids can be quite a lot goes on in the childhood, adolescent years, and all of that stuff. So let's now shift the conversation a bit. Let's talk about the fact that as parents, how do we actually tell? How do you see? How do you know? Kids sometimes you rather talk to your friends than talk to your parents. You confide certain things to your friends than your parents. So as parents, as caregivers, as guardians, how do you know if your child is being bullied or perhaps the one actually doing the bullying? A couple of signs here, emotional behavioral signs to look out for. Changes in sleep patterns, all right? Mood swings, that's part of it. Feels ill in the morning, becomes withdrawn or starts stammering, becomes aggressive or unreasonable, begins to target siblings, continually loses money or starts stealing. That's quite interesting.
Wow, those are very interesting.
Very interesting
traits to observe. The one I come out is like, how do I know that my child is being bullied from the way he sleeps?
Okay, maybe your kid. Your kid is the type that just when it's time to sleep, he sleeps or she sleeps, and then you wake up, and all of a sudden they start to have fits and starts. They sleep, now they wake up, so insomnia starts to set in because they are not at peace. I think that's part of it. I think, Okay, I think I go with that one. All right, I think I agree with that one. Becomes withdrawn. I think if they are hurting,
exactly.
And just all of a sudden,
we spoke about the parents observing. You need to. It's not just assuming that okay, this boy maybe he just doesn't want to talk to us, right?
If he continues,
the boy is vibrant. Somebody who is vibrant, always cheerful. You understand? And always he just goes into his shell. Something must have gone wrong. Something. Check it. Ask him. Go to his school. go and ask. But if you're in a boarding school, this cannot happen.
Tosin is showing his anti-boarding school stance so much. So
Well, like you rightly, we're trying to weigh it. Some people are for boarding school. Boarding school is great. I'm not saying it's not great. It has a lot of things because it actually makes people stronger. I feel like it makes you stronger because you are away from your parents. You don't have the loving, caring. Mommy, I want this. Mommy, somebody did this yesterday. You understand that kind of thing. You have to man up eventually. But
not man up in that sense. You can, but you have to just stand by yourself and be self-sufficient. All right, guys, let's take a couple of reactions. You know how much we love to hear from you people. Let's talk about okay, all right. I have one here. I have Abdul Samad from Ikorodu. He's saying, well, bullying or being bullied is not a new thing to us as humans. One way or another, we've been victims of it, either in the school or our environment. Bullying is just a forceful enforcement of power. This is a really lengthy one. Now, just try and summarize. It's not a forceful enforcement of power in our capacity to get what we want in an unjust way. I'm very sure no one likes that situation. But going extra length by trying to initiate a fellow student like you into courtism is just another form to define how bad and inhumane human beings are. A thorough sensitization needs to be given to the students and make them know a better way to get things done without being power drunk. It's just unbelievable and unbearable as to how victims of bullying would feel. Best wishes to the deceased. May God continue to grant the family the fortitude to bear this loss. I mean, that's our prayers. Amen. For the family, a couple of reactions. Another reaction here. I have Chisom from Ifo saying, for me, bullying is a way of life in Nigeria. Everyone has bullied someone before. The only question is to what length was the bullying. I went to a boarding school in the era when bullying was top-notch and it made us tougher when we got out of school. Although some parents make bullying seem normal because they bully their kids at home and the kids now transfer what they've just learned. Have you ever seen a particular tribe in Nigeria when their children are insulting outside? Just trace the home and you'll find out that the father or mother is actually worse.
Wow. That's a very big one from a man from E4.
Okay, I have Jide here from Surulere. It says, bullying happens anywhere, but parental guidance is almost impossible when the victim is a boarder. So someone agreeing with Tosin's stance.
I can't agree with you more, bro.
Tosin's stance of anti-boarding. But I don't think the boarding school is a problem.
It's not anti-boarding. It's just what it is.
It's your preference. It's fine.
It's just what...
No,
what does it take?
I'm not going to take my child to boarding school.
No,
but I can understand. Calm down now. I can understand why parents can and will choose to take their kids
and
to
I'm trying to let them know why they should not.
Chineke God, now the people that are doing boarding business, you want them to shut down.
They should.
No,
they should shut down and do day. Day is okay. Nobody will die if there's no boarding school in Nigeria. We'll eventually go to university. That's why we have university.
Oh my days. All right, guys. But I need to educate us really quickly. All right. How about even in day? I mean, you and I just agreed that in day schools, bullying also happens.
Yes.
And apart from it, let's even take it away from the school environment.
Yeah.
Kids get bullied at home. They are peer groups. They are playmates. Your neighbor. How you take note? I mean, you don't know if your kids are being bullied if they don't tell you, or if you don't see the signs. If you are not intuitive to see the signs.
True.
So, but how about if the kids now the schools put up measures in place to actually check bullying?
If they put in measures to
check like properly educate these kids and sensitize them about what bullying is. So you are bullying somebody, it's possible that you actually don't know that you're bullying.
What are they going to put in place?
But like sensitizing the kids.
What they do, is it going to work?
You check this thing and you try that.
This has been going on for a very, very long time now. If what happened to Sylvester had not happened, we'll probably not know. I mean, a lot of people have just been silent,
and just keeping moving,
and just keeping it quiet. I mean, this year, those little touches and stuff like that, it's becoming
more than 5 stories.
Rampant.
More than 5 stories this year. That made it to prime time news.
What are the schools doing? I mean, even for day schools, I'm not saying for boarders, even day schools. What are they putting in place? What I see, right, is all they want to do is protect the name of the school, their image. That's all they want to do. And people are paying stupendous from the effort, you know what it takes to make money in Nigeria.
Hustle is real,
Now
man.
you're sending your child to school to die. Come on now.
Unfortunately, no.
I beg.
And the courtesan
See
part
how we
of
send
it
my
too.
child to school like this.
See, like it's just so.
And we just could be doing
homeschool. Wow, that's another conversation to be had. Really,
I mean,
looking at from cultism to bullying kids, but even in our workplace as adults, really, bullying also occurs. You have people who are power drunk, either they're your superiors at work, and they will make you know from internship roles. Interns have a lot of story to tell as well. Interns also have, as parents as well, as parents, we have to look at from home. Let's take it back to the home environment. You as a mom, you as a father, you have perhaps your help that comes in to perhaps clean the house, to help you with your clothes or something, or maybe your nanny. And your kids see the way you relate to the nanny.
Yeah.
That's part of it too. You bully this person. When you are coming, you have the nanny that cannot sit on your chair. When it's your chair, it's your sofa. They cannot sit on your chair.
What kind of attitude is that?
I'm not saying it's right, but it's your money. But you have your helps that when you're coming into the house, their blood pressure just shoots up the roof. That's part of it. So I think it's time we all start to check ourselves.
It's in line with what what's the name, Mr. Chisom said for me for like. They should trace these things back to the parent, because a lot of children they don't learn actually, they learn from seeing what people do.
Actions.
Right? They see their parent doing something, they want to try it on their mates in school. Parent, you guys need to check this and stop it.
So this do as I say and don't do as I do, it ain't gonna work with kids. It's not going to work. It's the truth.
It doesn't work.
If you try lighting a cigar or a cigarette in front of your kid, and now see, I just hope they're not going to burn down the house. This is part of it. So, and if we're trying to build morally sound, mentally stable human beings, financially stable, emotionally sound kids who are going to grow up to become a member of the society, it starts from the home. And I think we've got to absolutely check that one. Did we mention physical signs of checking if your child is being bullied? How dare me? If your kid comes home with unexplained bruises, cuts, scratches, it's a pointer. Check it. Your child comes home with missing or damaged belongings or clothes, which is also part of it. Your child comes home hungry. You give the child food though. You know this is the quantity of food your child would typically eat and be fine and be filled up and happy, basically. And your child comes home hungry. Check that one too. Signs of bullying in schools. Your child doesn't want to go to school. Your child that loves school, enjoys going to school, all of a sudden just becomes that child that, no, mommy, no, not today. Another one is changes their route to school, or they're frightened of wanting to go to or walk into school. Doesn't want to go to school on the bus. So that's already something. On the train, all of that stuff. So make sure we check that. School grades, it's a major pointer. It's a major pointer. Your kid that perhaps is an A student, a B plus student, a C student, steady, all of a sudden just become that child that the grades just nosedives and all of that stuff. So you've got to check that. It's goodness.
And it's really, I don't know if you observe it, it's really, a lot of people already, it's become a debate for body
versus day
school. I mean, I actually love that I read the reactions, but we'll just keep this because they're very, very funny. I'm not against boarding school. Nobody should get me wrong, all right? What I'm saying is that it is more prevalent. I'm not saying it's more, I don't have proof, but I just feel a lot of people cannot check it because boarding does not afford that luxury.
The luxury.
Do you understand? Like they school does, but it's just unfortunate actually. It's just unfortunate. What should be good is becoming very bad.
I think if there are if there are checks in places from schools to homes to churches, I mean to mosque, all of those activities, from kids to adults to in workplace, all of these things need to be checked. So check yourself. Are you a bully?
Yeah, I'm not.
Check yourself, really. Are you a bully? Do you bully people? Do you talk to people in a nonsensical manner because you are the boss? Check that part. Policies, schools should put signs. I mean, there's always been councillors' office. What do the councillors do in schools, though?
I don't know. Let me quickly say this. Like, there was this school. I'm aware of this school. They have what's called etiquette time.
Okay.
So what they do is for all the weeks they'll be in school, they have a particular topic. They will educate the children on the assembly. Every morning you come to the assembly with your notes. So I heard that they told them on bullying, how to protect yourself from bullying, how to speak up. when you're being bullied, one thing I believe will work is speaking out, right? Do you agree with
But I
this?
think you need to have a safe place to speak out. If you
This
okay,
one, just say again, body is cool.
no, really don't see, because I remember, of course, I wasn't bullied in secondary school. I can't remember a particular. I was very mouthy, as small. I would talk, yes, but I remember that I used to fear and be scared of actually going to the counselor's office. Not because the counselor was, I wasn't sure, I wasn't certain that whatever it is I talked to was going to be in confidence. That was my fear. Not because she gave me proof of us spilling it or telling someone else, but I just could not trust. So that's also part of it. So kids need to be able to confide in their parents, in their teachers, their caregivers, their counselors. I mean, they're always counselors in schools. They've always been, in my experience.
Yeah,
we always had counselor in school.
Counselor.
But that counselor office, I don't enter it. I don't used to enter it. And that's also part of it. So how can kids create that rapport, basically to... There's a time I think there was something going on at home and it wasn't bullying related, but I should have been able to... my teacher noticed I was withdrawn in class, and she asked me. I told her nothing was wrong, which a lot was going on, but I did not tell my my teacher. Eventually I had to, I think I told my nana, I told my grandmother eventually, but I just needed to trust. So that's a part of safe place.
So how did you get out of that situation?
I spoke to my grandmother.
Okay.
I had someone to talk to, but in school someone actually asked me, but I just didn't know. I didn't maybe feel comfortable enough. I didn't tell her.
Labake, still on the bullying issue, like I said recently, a lot of people have started coming out to talk about, touching my child. So now let's look at this scenario, right? So your child and my child are in the same school, right? So your child bullied my child, right? So my child comes home and tells me, this is a person's child bullied me. I'm like, don't play with that boy again. So news circulates about that particular boy who bullied my own child, that okay, don't play with him, right? Now I want us to look at two things. What does that do for the self-esteem of the child that bullied, and the self-esteem of the bullied child?
Okay, I think that's the part of, as parents, as teachers, that's the part where child education, so not just you just getting your certificate from school in whatever discipline and just going into teaching, also understanding how it is to work with kids.
Yes,
it's a course on its own. It's a whole lot of, it is the truth. You've got to learn that part. So the emotional intelligence as the teacher to handle it. Then as the parent of the child, okay, so say my child is the one bullying. So I would appreciate that my the other parent whose child my own child bullied talks to me. Let's have a conversation, and then I talk to my child, and then I would like for both of us to perhaps come to the school, you get it, and talk to the kids together, and explain to my child the consequence of bullying, why they should not bully, because it's somebody that gave birth to the child that is bullying somebody. And that is where we, as a community, we've got to work hand in hand and all. It's going to affect the confidence of my own child, because if every of your pair choose to not play with you, it's going to affect it. But that is the consequence of bullying someone. And we've got to, consequence management is important. From a very young age, not everything has to be corporal punishment. You can... There are a lot of ways. Is it from your gift to your toys, to reducing the playtime you get, your cartoon time, your PlayStation time? There are ways to manage this thing. I think my child will learn that it's the consequence of the action that you did. From a very young age, we need to drum it in their heads. There are consequences for every action.
Very true. I mean, but we must say that your what you've said, I don't think, and not everybody thinks the way you think, right? So the reaction will probably get might not be
what you would expect.
I would expect.
But that's the part, you can't take responsibility for other people's action as adults, right? But as parents, you need to open your eyes to the fact that your child can be the bully. It is the truth. An ugly one, but it is the truth. Your child can be the bully, other than being the bullied. So you've got to put steps, and
the major focal point, what brought about all
this conversation.
I mean, it was somebody's child,
or children in this case.
Children in the scenario that was trying to enforce the boy to join a cult. I mean,
and that's how all of this is.
It's just what it is. I don't think we can finish up with this question today.
I mean, let's keep the conversation going now, shall we? So Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, CTV Live is the handle. Make sure you give us, leave the hashtag Let's Talk Naija, so we know and we continue this conversation off air. and on YouTube and TikTok, it is
TikTok.
CTV. Like, I think we just might, this conversation is going to stretch, and
Yeah.
I'll really love for us to have someone, say a caregiver, perhaps a counselor in a school, and explain certain things, how it is working with kids, how
Probably
they manage the situations.
We'll do well to try and get somebody join us on the show.
Yeah, and
Educate the
maybe even
viewers
have kids who have been bullied, or kids who are
life
actually,
experience.
you know, and just gather people's point of view, basically. As parents, was a child bullied and all of that stuff, really. This conversation cannot end today.
Yeah,
It cannot.
I
I
don't
mean,
think
we'll be
so.
sure
I
to
don't
bring
think
you
so.
a sequel. Yeah, that's what we are here for. Yes, to keep the conversation going. So, guys, this is where we draw the curtains on today's episode of Let's Talk Naija. What we've been talking about, it's been bullying, how to check if your child is actually the one bullying, if your child is the bullied, and steps, processes, policies that should be put in place as parents, caregivers, and all of that stuff. Yeah. It's
All
a
right,
long one.
guys, it's time for us to leave the studios and let's continue this conversation. Let's build on it. Let's talk to people. Everybody, this is our talk. It's not just for us. It's for everybody to talk about, right? So, Labake, I've said my Betty boys. I think you should do the same.
All right, guys, stick around with us here on CTV because we've got amazing content just for your viewing pleasure. Till we'll come your way again, I remain this fine and all of I remain Omolabake, right? Thank you very much.
I remain the one taking care of yours truly, Oluwatosin. Guys, bye.
He did not just say that. He did not.
I did. For the next
I don't want to share him. I don't want to share him.
For next show, I'll probably just bully you so you can have a life experience. What about that?
HR will hear of this. Consequence management. Bye, guys.